Alright, Push family, we are a week away from ETAR. I'm down here in my bow room packing up everything for the booth. We're going to have alpha packs there, new hats, new shirts, old shirts from last year that are left over. So stop on by, say hello. Let's talk about bow hunting. Let's talk about shooting bows. This is one of my favorite weekends of the year. We're going to take you along. If you haven't made the journey to ETAR, you guys got to do it. And get primed. Enjoy this episode. Guys, it seems like every time I get this camera in my hands, it's 90 degrees and 90% humidity, and today is no different. Heading up to the family farm, 200 acres. It's about 20 minutes north of my property that I showed you guys a few episodes ago. I haven't introduced you guys to the big 10 point that I'll be targeting this year, as well as there's a big 7 point as well on my property. But what I'm wanting to do is I'm pulling a few cameras here off the family property, off the 200 acres, and I'm gonna reposition them on my property. I'm really trying to narrow down the bedding area and the pattern of the big 10 point. So that's really what I'm focusing on. This property is going to be cool. I'm going to show you around. We've been doing a lot of habitat improvement on it. Myself and two other bow hunters. I've introduced you guys to Travis, my brother-in-law, and then my good buddy, Travis' cousin, Kurt. We've been doing a lot of hinge cutting, a lot of habitat improvement. Main goals here on this property I'll show you is getting sunlight to the forest floor, and by opening up the canopy and then creating additional cover. And I'll show you around here in a little bit. All right, we're standing here in the middle of the family farm, 200 acres. Up here to the north of me, you can see we do have a well pad here. This whole property is set up with mainly 4 fingers, and in between each finger is a really steep, deep valley. The whole property from where we're standing here on kind of the western side all the way down to the eastern side, it's a slow and gradual decline all the way down to this valley. You can kind of see where the valley drops off. And so the whole property is sloping from west to east, and then from north and south you kind of have these big deep valleys and these fingers coming across. We do lease this property to a farmer, a local farmer. We don't make him pay to lease this property, and the benefit of that for us is we get to dictate kind of where he has to plow, stop plowing, where he can leave up certain crops for us for later in the season for food sources. So we do have a little bit of freedom there. But the big thing here is about 10 years ago, we decided that there was going to be no more rifle hunting on this property. So we started, it was just 3 of us bow hunting this. Recurves, it was a recurve only or longbow only property. The first 3 years was phenomenal. We would still hunt during rifle season, but we would have our recurves and our longbows with us. As you start heading east, this valley, this is an old overgrown, right here, this is an old overgrown pasture. Right at the bottom of this pasture is kind of where we really focused in on. So the whole south side of the property, we're trying to get maximum security, maximum bedding area, maximum cover. We're just trying to make it a jungle in there. So I'm going to take you down here and show you how it looks down there. We haven't really messed around up here on the northern side of the property very much. We're going to let that go for another year or so. We're going to really see how much benefit working on the southern property and how the movement has changed. Is the holding capacity of the property better? So let's go take a walk. Okay, this is a really good example of the standing timber condition here on this property. You can see that, you can see for 100 yards, there's little to no undergrowth here. I mean, everything is pretty much this, like maybe 2 feet tall. There's no browse in here. There's no security. There's no cover. They don't feel any security or safety in this transition zone. So they'll come up to the field edge, they'll pause for like 2 seconds, and then they bolt. And the minute they start moving, they don't slow down until they're about 40, 50 yards out into the open field. They feel more safe out in the middle of the open fields than they do moving through this big open timber like this. This holding capacity is 200 acres is, quite frankly, pitiful. And you can probably see it through this on your screen, that it's getting a whole lot brighter on my face. And all I did was walked 20 yards, and you can see how we really started remedying this. We started really opening this timber, hinge cutting, moving trees down over into this running power line. This power line runs north and south. But this is now getting tons and tons of sunlight in here, all day mostly. And you can actually see this undergrowth here compared to the undergrowth over here, right? There's nothing on this ground. Instantly you're creating a food source that'll live for multiple years after you hinge cut it if you do it properly. But a lot of this, we didn't have any timber value in here. It was just all twisted up cherries and maples. Really nice site right down here. You can see it's a big, it's a double caverned natural spring coming out of the ground. I'll show you that here. It's beautiful, beautiful little area down here. We actually have the pastor and all the family come down, and this is where my wife and I, we get our kids baptized. It's a pretty little fun fact here of the family farm. We've got a highway forming here just on the edge of the bedding area, heading on down towards that lower portion of the valley that we were just in. Ryan English of Sandbank Wildlife. You can check him out on Instagram at Sandbank Wildlife. He's been my mentor on this, and his property is unbelievable. He actually has a property really similar to this one. Oh, there's some deer right there. But Ryan English has really helped me. I'm a complete newbie. I have no idea what I'm doing. But if you have a property like this that is just not productive, you're not seeing a ton of deer, and I mean, it's 50 acres. Hell, you saw what I did on my property. I own 6, 20 minutes south of here. And wait till you see me introduce you to the deer that's on that property. So it's amazing what a chainsaw can do. And Ryan has been my mentor, like I said, and he's just been helping. And one of the things that really resonates with me that he's told me is cutting too much or screwing up because you're trying to do habitat improvement is better than doing nothing at all and letting the canopy grow and choke out your entire property. Making this gnarly, I mean, all of this is 6 feet tall. When I walk in there, you'll see it's 6 feet tall minimum. And before it was like, you can see the dirt. And this is just helping squirrels, ground nesting birds, turkeys, grouse, pheasant, rabbits, cottontails. I've never seen so many cottontails over on my property than I have this season since we started doing all this habitat improvement work. Now that we're getting into habitat improvement, you know, our harvest rate, I usually harvest about 4 deer a year. Family eats it, family uses it, but I'm shooting the first animal that walks up to me that gets my heart rate going. And if a little buck walks up and it's early in the season, then typically I'm shooting that animal. But now with a lot of this habitat improvement, just knowing that these deer will stay on these properties and we're creating more food, more water, more security, you know, maybe that's all I need to be able to hold out just a little bit longer and channel my inner Tim Nebel and maybe hold out for the big boy. So in a future episode, I'll be introducing you to the Big 10 and the Big 7 point on the property, and hope you enjoyed the tour. Really appreciate you guys watching. Head on over to our website, www.thepusharchery.com. Check out our products, our alpha packs. Got some swag on the website sometimes. And then it's also a really good portal for our online school, the Push Archery Center of Knowledge. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Love you. Get priming. All right, bright and sunny day here. Got the tractor out, gonna head up, do some habitat improvement up behind my place. I'm gonna take you with me. Got a few mineral blocks here, just stopped at a Tractor Supply. Got the boys out here with me. I'm gonna take Holland, my 4-year-old, up there with me. He loves this stuff.
which is super awesome. Got a couple mineral blocks, and then I got the salt block. I'm gonna go ahead and use this circular saw. I'm gonna cut a trench around it, and I'm gonna try to split it in half. I got 2 sites up there, and then I'm gonna split those mineral blocks in half as well. So I'm just put cameras on them and see which ones they prefer, what they're really coming into, and then that's what I'll use for the remainder of the year until we have to take them out of there. You're not allowed to bait in Pennsylvania. You have to have everything out from the woods, from a baiting perspective, out from anywhere near your tree stands 30 days prior to opening day of hunting season. Also, I bought these rubberized water troughs. I'm gonna bury them and make some watering holes up there. It's pretty cool. I'll show you the process there. I'm gonna drive the tractor up, got all my tools I'm gonna need, dig a few holes, put this in there. So, all right, let's get to it. Okay.
I smell a deer.
You smell a deer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. That's a good thing. All right. We got the tractor almost stuck. Didn't get fully stuck, so have to hand carry all that stuff up here, which isn't too bad of a walk. But what we're gonna do, I'm gonna bury. We're gonna set these mineral blocks out, like I said, in some of the stand sites that I showed you guys in an earlier episode. And then we have these rubber watering holes that you can buy at a Tractor Supply or any type of farming store. And you just bury it up to the lid pretty much, and it's just gonna be a little watering hole out here in these little kill plot areas. So I'm gonna go ahead and get digging. My buddy here is gonna help, right? You gonna help? Mm-hmm. And I'll show you the end result here in a couple minutes. Oh, you're gonna run the pickaxe? Can you pick it up? There you go. Nice work. Okay. So that's the hole, just kind of pretty much flush with the ground. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Yep. Did good.
I found a rainbow.
You found a bug?
Look, look, I found a rainbow.
Oh, nice.
It was on there, but not.
So, put a stick in there, so when that does fill up with water, and then we tried to keep it without a canopy. So if a chipmunk or field mouse or something falls in there and drowns, and it'll at least have an opportunity to get out and not drown and die in the water. You don't want that in that water source. But I'm gonna put all the mineral blocks up here. I'm gonna put a camera in over here on one of these trees, and then we'll see how that goes.